Hello everyone, Strikoder here and welcome back to a new episode of Active Directory Hacking Lab. In today's episode we're gonna explore together how to enumerate a domain. So if you haven't watched the last episode we've enumerated open ports, and in today's episode we're gonna enumerate the users and the PCs and so on using BloodHound. So let's get started. First of all, if you don't have BloodHound installed, there are several ways to install BloodHound. Let me move to here. So I'm gonna open a browser. So we open our browser and we type BloodHound, not capital letter, BloodHound install Linux. So you can see inside curly, you can type sudo update and install BloodHound. Oops, can we close this? No, we can't. I think we can. No, we can't. Okay. So first of all, we type sudo bloodhound and you install it. And then let me do like this. And then you make the bloodhound setup. So you're gonna make the setup for Neo4j, which is the graph database for the bloodhounds, because bloodhound backend uses GraphQL. And you need Neo4j for the database and the setup. So why are we using graphs? Now we're gonna see in a while how bloodhound and what is bloodhound. And the default credentials, you enter them over here. So you sign in to localhost 7474 and you type neo4j. For the default credentials, to set up new credentials, I always prefer to set ABC123 and ### like this, or in some cases ABCD1234 and 4 hashes. So that's my default passwords most of the time. And here you see the updated password. Now you need to go to here, use Vim or mousepad or whatsoever, and change the password over here for the backend as well. Then you type sudo bloodhound and you go to localhost 8080. So be careful if you have most of the time perp running. So that's gonna conflict with 8080. You might have some issues. Be sure to close burp before and close your proxy before going to bloodhound. And then if you need any time to reset the password, you might forget it or whatsoever, you can run this. That's the typical way of how to set up bloodhound. However, I prefer to install that by GitHub as a container. So you go over here, just you copy paste wget to install this, then you tar it, you unzip it, and you install through the CLI. Then you're gonna have the login page inside the browser. You log in and change password, so admin and the generated credentials will be generated during install, so please make sure to watch your terminal. And that's it. So what is bloodhound exactly? Let me go to here and let me type this. So I'm gonna make a new window because I have it saved here. So first of all, I need to run bloodhound. So either you run that by the first website that we saw, or if you are installing the second way, you can run that inside a Docker container. I prefer this way. So it's gonna take a time because it's running inside a VM. And then after running that, I'm gonna go immediately to the browser and I'm gonna type http localhost 8080. Let me make sure. So it's running and healthy. So I have my creds already saved for me here and I'm gonna log in. So first time you're logging in, make sure to change the password to a password you will not forget. I prefer always, as I've told you, A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 or 4 hashes. So next, what do we need to do? You might get this page or you might get another page. Let me check. So you might get this page. If you got this page, most of the time or 100% you'll see this empty. Just in a while I'm gonna show you how to fill that up. Then next you need the BloodHound Ingestor. So Ingestor usually give us the data from the domain controller to ingest that and into the BloodHound interface over here on the local host. So how to do that? There are several ingestors. We're gonna check them one by one. So first of all, we have the BloodHound, typical BloodHound. Let me check. So this is the typical command. Oopsie. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna copy that into here. So what do we have here? First of all, the DCIP, we need to fill that. So our DCIP, if you are not, if you haven't watched the full series, so we made a domain controller with 2 PCs. So over here we need to provide the domain controller IP, which is in our case 10.0.2.15, C for all to ingest everything and to zip that up, and the no, here we need to provide yeah, that's correct. I'm sorry, 10.0.2.15. So the domain, ours is pentest.local. We've made that up with our lab. And the user, last episode, we had a user, I believe it was called, I'm gonna show you next episode how to get the password of the user. But for now, bear with me. So our user is called ASREP user. And the password, it should be, I believe, password 1 exclamation mark. So I intentionally made the password with exclamation mark. So here we need the single quotation. If you provided double quotations, you're gonna have an error or some issues. And you press enter. I need for sure to provide the password. So here I have an issue, -u -b. So I provided that in -d, which is not correct. That's the -b. -d is gonna be, as we've agreed on, pentest.local. We run that, and we see some stuff running up. pwd, I'm inside home Kali main account. We go over here. So if you see, I have a few databases over here, which is fine because I want to show you how to delete them. So you go to administrator, you go to database management, you select everything because I want to delete everything. You press delete and then copy, confirm, and that's it. You go to file ingest, upload file, Kali main account or whatever you have over here, and you select that, upload, and it's ingesting the zip. So in some cases, first time it fails, which is okay. You can upload that again and it's gonna ingest it to... Okay, I need to disable that just in case. So over here we see cancelled. So I'm gonna press that again, upload, which is extremely fine. It happens to me a lot. Now I'm gonna wait a little bit and meet me after it finishes. Okay, we're back. So after it had finished, we see over here complete. We go to explore, we type our user, ASREP for instance, user, and we mark that as owned. Then, if you are not familiar with BloodHound, just to let you know, over here on the right side, we see all the information about this specific user. So you can see object ID. There are some tools that require object ID, or most of the time you're gonna need the domain SID, which are specific IDs related to our domain. So if you had several domains, they will not conflict with each other by the users. This is just for the ID. Full QDN, qualified domain name, which is pentest.local, which we provided. If you don't know how to enumerate that before using BloodHound, make sure to like, share, hit the subscribe button, and make sure to follow the channel, because I'm gonna show you in a while, not in a while, like it's gonna take few episodes before I show you how to enumerate within a Windows machine. And the owner SID, the same account name, which we already knew, password never expires, truth. Those are some information about this specific user. However, there are few stuff that we are interested about as well. So most of the time, member of is gonna be empty, but it might lead you to an attack vector. So you will always recommended. You are always recommended to check that. Inbound object control. That's most of the time is not that important, because it shows you overall who has what over the user that you have, which is 99% of the time is useless. You need to check always outbound object. So for here, we have nothing to do with this user. Next, we're gonna see, let's check. So escape 8 vulnerability, we don't have anything with that. You're gonna need as well shortest path stuff. So shortest path from owned objects, we see we are member of domain users. That's useless. That's not very helpful to us. Shortest path from owned objects to tier 0. That's we might need that sometimes. To domain admins, that's great, because once you are in a domain admin group, or you are the domain admin, then you own the domain. And from our user to high value targets, as you can see here, it's empty because we cannot benefit anything from that. Shortest path to high value targets, we don't have anything yet. So this user is just, we got that from the ASREP users, which is our user. Just a foothold. We can see characteristable users as well, which is none over here. All characteristable users. Now we see the user that is vulnerable to kerberoot attack, and we see its service, which is extremely common in CTFs, I would say. So we might, just to show you, if you have a user that you are interested in, and you might have a will to attack it in the future, you can press right click on that and add to high value. Okay, and now it's marked as a high value. We can do that again to high value targets. We see it's still empty because our attack vector is not obvious from within BloodHound. So that was it. Be using the casual BloodHound Ingestor by running the sudo BloodHound on this. Next, we're gonna use other ingestors. For instance, SharpHound. Let me check if I have it over here. So locate SharpHound, and we see I have it. I don't have it. So I believe it's over here. Let me check. I'm gonna close this, and I'm gonna keep this with root because I here save my stuff, I believe. Strikoder. No, it's not here. So it's in home. That's why you need to keep your stuff in a specific place. So even though if you forgot or you didn't find that, using locate, because here it's SharpHound, Let me find. So I have SharpHound not capitalized or camel case. Let me try with exe. We don't see anything. So if we have this, now we find it. So that's why it's better to know your stuff. So what are we going to do? I'm gonna sudo python3. So I'm gonna provide over here the HTTP server in order to download SharpHound from within our PC, the victim PC, more precisely. So if you follow up, this is the password after we reset that. And okay, it's gonna take a bit of time. I'm gonna make this bigger. We see the CPU. Okay, I'm not interested. Let me open the browser. So Internet Explorer, it's called Microsoft Edge now. Okay, boomer. And over here, HTTP. So as you can see, here are the stuff. So I'm gonna download sharphound.exe, run it. Okay, it didn't run. So you need to provide that with parameters. I'm gonna download sharphound.ps1 as well. Let me download that. Okay, so now it's downloaded. So, since we downloaded both, I cannot recall if in my notes I have the commands for the PS or exe. That's why I downloaded both. And over here, I'm gonna run PowerShell. So let me move into here, cd, and go to here. Okay, it's directly in the downloads. Let me be sure. So we have the sharphound.exe over here. Now I'm gonna move to here. These are my notes. I have them included in the previous videos. Please leave a comment if you want the link for the notes. But I have them shared several times. If you couldn't find them, let me know and I'm gonna provide you the link. So I'm gonna copy that from there. What do we have here? We have sharphound.exe running with the flag collection methods all, which we saw. The same with the bloodhound python. And I'm gonna provide the domain name, which is pentest.local. Exclude DCs. I'm gonna exclude the. I'm not. Well, I'm gonna leave it. Okay. It's telling me maybe like this. I'm gonna remove that. And now we're running the sharphound.exe. So in few cases, you might have more information within the sharphound.exe. Let me check. So here I ran into an issue. Unable to connect to LDAP. All attempt connection failed. That's weird. Let me check again. Let me again try to provide that. So it failed, maybe because of the DC is not active. Let me check. So Control Alt Delete to unlock. I'm trying to press that. Okay, now I have that. I needed to restart the machine. Let me check. Okay. Now let's check over here again. So all connection attempted fail. Okay, that's strange. I believe I need to provide the credentials because I see the supplier credentials is invalid. So let me check. Do we have any here? Any help over here? Yes, we have. It's a great time to learn the... Oops. And let me make this full screen. So right control and F to make that bigger. And we need to provide the credentials. I need something like user or password, LDAP username, LDAP password. Okay, add my username. So do we have just user? No, we don't. So probably, yep, we need to provide, let me check with LDAP username and LDAP password. So, oops, not here. So LDAP username is gonna be SV or ASREP user, and LDAP password, it was password, yep, it's gonna be P 0RD 1 exclamation mark. We see this version. So I provided that, but with a single quotation, single dash. Now we're running, and I'm gonna fix that in my stuff. So we need to provide LDAP username, LDAP password. We see few errors over here. Now we're gonna check once it finishes. I'm gonna pause a bit. So it finished for now, and here we have it. So I ran that twice. The second time I just added zip file name equals sharp.zip. Let me make that bigger. So we see over here, no, we don't see that. Zip file name sharp.zip, just in case if you want to change the name, because it might conflict with the Bloodhound on your device, which is most of the time, mostly ever, mostly never, it's gonna conflict, because you see here the date time, most of the time it's not gonna be the same, unless if you ran them and they finished in the same time. So I'm gonna move the sharp one to my device. Oops. Not like that. I'm gonna take this and put it within the secret, I believe it was called. And let me check if I can reach that within my Kali. So here is my terminal and SMB client -n -l, and over here I'm gonna try to provide 10 0 2 15. So I cannot. Let me try with -u, and I need to provide ASREP user, and then &, the password, which was P 0RD 1 exclamation mark. And here we see the secrets. I don't think we can reach that. Let's try without the L. I think yes, we can. Right? Ret ls. Yeah, we can. And I'm gonna install the zip with git. We got that. Moving that into home. Then within Bloodhound, I'm gonna use administrator, remove those, type delete this environment data, file ingest, upload file. and I'm gonna wait a little bit. Okay, so after it had finished, now we see complete. We go to explore ASRep user, and again we see the same thing. Most of the time you might see more outbound stuff or more groups that you couldn't reach or ingest through the Python. Not most of the time. Most of the time it's the other way around. Most of the time they are both equal. But in few instances or cases, I had more info, which was the attack vector through the SharpHound. I cannot recall which hackthebox machine was, but I had the same thing as IPSec, so I always prefer to use the exe or ps1, the PowerShell script. If I couldn't or hadn't access to the machine or to the PC through RDB or through any way like through SMB execution or through eval winrm through winrm uh, mainly, then I'm gonna use the sudo with the creds that I already have. So next I'm gonna show you a new ingester as well, which it was highlighted by Ibsec by a recent video. That's why I want to show that in my video as well. And I like it, which called RustHound. The main downside for this, it's not compiled, so you need to compile it on your device, then run it. You have two ways to compile that. You can copy that from here or take a look. So you can compile that on your Linux and run that within Linux, or compile that um, by a static compiler and run that on Windows. So I'm just gonna copy that. Mm, oops. I'm gonna copy the commands and paste them into here. What's happening? Let me take a look. So, so I'm gonna check by firstly oops, going over here, and I believe I can, maybe I need to, let's check. You'll need to install Rust on your system. Do I have Rust? So install gcc lang. I believe I had all of these. If you don't, be sure to run this. Then I'm gonna copy this, paste that into here. Let me check. So cargo build release, cargo B, CD. Okay. I don't need the B, but let me. I believe that's okay. Now I'm gonna pause a little bit. So I had an error. Mostly, oops, because I missed something from here. So let me run those and meet me after it finishes. So it had finished. Now I'm gonna run the old one. So just to save time, I paused, I ran that command, and let me check. I installed something. Not here. So I installed these and got a different error, which is related to cargo update. I ran the cargo update and still got the same error over here. So it's issue. It has issues with the time version. So I ran rust update. It removes and reinstalls all the packages. So it installed rust up, removed cargo and those, and reinstalled them. Over here I typed yes, and now I finished with the default setup. Now I'm gonna try and build that again. And let's see, would I have an issue? So I have a different error for now. So what I tried next is using make install. I'm gonna install that by the make file, not by the Rust, and it finished actually. Okay, that's great. Now to run RustHound, how do we run it? Let me see. Optimize the binary usage. So we see RustHound options domain. We need to provide the LDAP username, LDAP password, and the domain, I believe. Do we need anything? LDAP IP. Okay. So let's do that together. One by one. So I'm gonna RustHound. Let me take this. Okay, it shows I don't have RustHound. Is it here? So where did we build that? Maybe in the target? And then release, I believe. And here is it in the green, ready to be launched. So I'm gonna provide sudo. I'm already root, using the root for now, instead of typing the password each time. So instead of rust scan, it's gonna be sudo rusthound -- help. Rusthound is not found, like this, and now it works. So -z, of course, and we need, can we provide that to home? That's great. And we need the, or just you, and I'm gonna provide asrep user -p for password. It's gonna be p at ssw0rd1 exclamation mark. That's why we need single quotations. And we had the domain -d pentest.local. And what do we need to provide as well? I believe -i. I prefer to put that here. 10.0.2.15 and unexpected. So can we provide that to a specific place? Output, I believe. Output directory. So -c-o for the output -home. And it finished so fastly. Like, I know Rust is extremely fast, but not that much. Okay, I'm shocked, to be honest. Maybe because our domain is so small, but you see Python, you saw, I mean, the Python one and the PowerShell one, or the exe one, the executable one. But over here it's extremely fast. Let me delete those. And yes, I want to delete this environment data, and then file ingest over the home, RustHound, upload that. Let's wait. It got cancelled. So you just try that again and meet me after it finishes. Okay, it took a while. So Rust was very fast, but the BloodHound was extremely slow. I don't think, is it written in Java? I don't think so. So what do we have here? The Rustable, not the SVC, asrep user. Can we see anything? Add to owned, member of, about, nothing interesting. Let's check if we have maybe DC sync stuff. So I would like to repeat, if you don't know what are these stuff, make sure to follow up. I'm gonna explain them in this series. So shortest path, do we see something new, like relatable to escape stuff or certificates? So right now, DC maybe. We don't see anything, but in some cases you would see some more stuff related to certificates, which is not the case with our DC. So that was it. Thank you guys for watching. Please make sure to leave a comment if you have any question, and see you next episode.